Okay, hello everybody and welcome on my presentation. I'm Tomek, I'm from Wrocław in Poland and I work at Ocado Technology where I'm a software development manager. I know manager is like a bad word. But first thing first guys, yeah, I've been actually a few times in Budapest, so first, see ya Budapest! Yeah! It's really great. Last year on HUSTEF was my first time in Budapest and it was so awesome. And looking at what's happening this year, I think it's gonna be even more awesome. So it's actually, how many of you have been here on HUSTEF last year? Whoa, so it's like really great to see you again guys, because this is my second time on HUSTEF and actually another time in Budapest, so I've learned some more Hungarian actually. Remek, chodź, újra itt lehetek. Thank you. Okay, I have something extra for the end, but this one is difficult. Okay, but to the presentation, guys. So, I don't want us to have today a regular, ordinary presentation. I want to propose you something different. I want to play a game. And those of you who are a fan of horror movies already know this quote, right? The Saw movie. Well, the game in that movie wasn't very nice, right? There was like blood and flesh and guts flying everywhere. So I don't want to play anything like that. I rather propose some nicer, pleasant game, something like a mobile game like Angry Birds or something like this. And I hope that at the end you'll be a little bit inspired to change something and to try something new in your everyday work. So guys, if you are ready, let's hit the start button and play. Our game will be made of a few levels. Exactly, there will be 4 levels. On each level we'll discuss some concept, and every level will be corresponding with the previous one and somehow corresponding with next level. And the goal of our game is to discuss how we can improve quality in our organizations. So, if you are guys ready, let's start with level number 1. As you can see, it's like a very hot place, right? Full of lavas and volcanoes. So I decided to call this level, at first, there was fire. So are we going to talk about fire here? Well, not really. We'll be talking about, game of words, small, about hire. Not fire, but hire. We'll be talking about hiring. We'll be talking about the recruitment process because, guys, everything starts with the recruitment process. You are working somewhere, right? What you did? You passed the recruitment process. You're going to change your work. First, you pass the recruitment process. And the recruitment process is very important. And not because, and remember, recruitment process is not just for the company. It's not just for them to know if you are a fit, but it's also for you to understand what this company is. So, recruitment process is your chance to actually, this recruitment process is form of a business card of a company you are applying to, right? And for you, when you are in this company, it's a chance to actually feel this culture that this company has, because this is very important. What organization does. If I ask you a question, well, what your organization does, what the organization do? The money? Obviously, yeah, and this is actually a very good answer. All the companies we have on the market are there to make the money. But the question is, how do they make this money? Because your role as a QA derives from the organizational culture. QA role will be completely different in a small startup with unknown funding, completely different in a product company that builds its own product, completely different in a software house that delivers for the customers, and completely different in a large enterprise like financial institution when a lot of things is regulated externally. And your role as a QA derives from this culture. And guys, let's be honest, we are IT, right? We are in this lucky market where there is less employees than the market needs. What it means, unfortunately, that recruiters can tell you literally anything just to get you to the company. How many times you had the stories like the recruiter promised like wonderful project, brand new shiny technology, nice managers, and then you go there and it's like, what? Where is this promised land gone, right? They can promise you literally anything, and the recruitment process is the way you can see the company with your own eyes and see what's there, because they can give you all the promises, then can give you all the labels you have. Guys, actually, what is your role called? QA, tester, software engineering test, quality, test automation engineer, whatever. As for me, you can even be a quality ninja if you want. But the important thing is not how you are called, but the important thing is what you actually do. Because what you actually do depending on what you actually do, you can be a ninja in that style, or you can be a ninja in that style. So, recruitment process is your chance to feel the culture, see what the culture is, what's the quality in this culture, where is the place of quality in this culture, and what you will do, and then you know where you are. And this is how I wanted to end level number 1. Just like Angry Birds, we get the stars, and let's go to level number 2. Okay, level number 2 is like a hard, cold place. So I decided to call it hard as a rock. Okay, so what we're going to talk about here? Well, we know already where you work, right? You know where you work, okay, that's great, congratulations. Well, but what now? What I'm supposed to do now? And as every new starter in a company, the first thing you want to do is to make a difference, right? Because there's no good company. Everyone joins the company, it's like suddenly, oh, this can be changed, this works, this sucks, let's change it. Let's try to do it differently, it will be better. And this actually can be hard, right? Because, guys, how many times you had this like perfect plan, right? We'll make this change and we'll be like the top company in the world, we just need to do it. And you go to your boss, to your managers, to your friends, colleagues, and you tell them this plan, you tell them your idea and your expectations, they will be excited like on Heineken commercial, right? They will be like, whoa, this is the greatest idea ever, man, you should be the new CEO. With this idea, Google will eat from our hand. And your expectations are like this, and then comes the reality. It's like, ah, yeah, that's an interesting idea, but let's talk about it next week, or maybe like never. So, this is hard. So, making a change is hard, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the physics of change. I know that among QAs, at least I have a couple of friends who are QAs and they graduated physics, so we are going today to talk a little bit about like this old school actual physics. So guys, in physics there was something called the moment of inertia. You know it? That's the equation, the moment of inertia. In short words, moment of inertia tells you if you have a spinning object, how hard it is to change this movement. To speed it up, slow it down, or change the rotation. So this is the moment of inertia. And now I wanted to show you the moment of inertia for our world, for our IT organizations. Okay? So let's have this equation and let's divide it into pieces. Okay, let's start with R. Okay, R was the radius from the axis of rotation, what it can be in our IT world. Ideas? R like, yeah? I'll go down.
Probably the length of the iteration.
What?
The length of the iteration.
Not exactly. R. Regression? Nah, every corporate manager will tell you this. Our greatest asset in the company are obviously the resources. So the resources, by the way, I hate the word resources. You can collect resources, it's goddamn StarCraft, you work with people, right? Okay, so resources, nothing new, right? The bigger the company is, obviously it's harder to make a change happen. That was easy. That was actually easy. So let's go with the M. Any ideas? What M can stand for? Management, no. Money, no. No. Sorry, it's hard. This one is hard actually. And I was thinking about it all the time. It was like, interesting, what can it be? And I couldn't figure it out. And guys, one sleepless night, actually in Italy, one sleepless night, and I found it out. I had this idea what this M stands for, finally. You know, and I'm going to share it with you. Look, if you have this M, and you turn it upside down, you get a W. And the W is this great, amazing factor that really well describes our organization. You know what W stands for? What the fuck is IT? If you go to your manager, if you go to your colleagues, and you ask them what we do, and they say like, oh, you know, we do refrigerators. Oh, then this is big. It will be hard to make a change in company that doesn't understand that it's technology. If you go to your managers, you go to your perks and you ask what we do, and you have the answer, we do software, we implement systems, we do technology. We understand that technology is not a cost, it's a benefit that pushes us forward in the market. Then this is small and it's much easier to have a change happen. So I never had my own physics law and I always wanted one, so I called this Dubikowski's law. Yes, thank you very much, yeah? Okay, so we know how change works, so the question is, so what to start with? what to start with, and my advice is, well, do your work well. I was like, seriously? Thank you, Captain Obvious. I was like, great advice, do your work well, but actually true. I'm the person who has like hundreds of ideas per minute, and first, if you are in the company, if you want to make a change, you have to understand what the organization does. What are the needs of that organization? Because, guys, this is not the one who changes the company. First, you need to do your work well to earn the trust, to understand what's happening, understand the processes, understand the culture. And then you can actually start making changes. And this is how I wanted to end up level number 2. And let's go to level number 3. As you can see, this is a desert. I hope you can see these flying bushes. I made them myself. So I call this level the wind of change. You know where you work, you're a good employee, you're doing your work well, what next? Well, it's time to apply your next expert knowledge, right? You guys are the experts in quality. So it's time to apply this knowledge. Or first, like we meet today, you can first gain this expert knowledge. And this is why we meet right here, to share experience, to inspire each other. Okay, so what I mean here by apply your expert knowledge, and this was actually said already a few times at this conference, I'm not thinking about the tools in here. Like if you watch Family Guy, like, no. Not the tools. Guys, tools are secondary. Tools are not important. They are important, but they are secondary. So this is not what I'm talking about here. As actually I noticed when talking with people, I've seen this difference that people who are less experienced, who are like starting their journey with the IT, people who are just, let's say, juniors, junior people usually tend to focus on these tools. What tools are we using? Are we using this one or this one? I've heard this one is cool, let's use it. They are not thinking why they are using these tools. And people who are senior, who've seen more, who experienced more, they are not focusing on the tools, they are focusing on the culture. What is quality for us in the company? Why quality is important? How we want to change it, how we want to improve it. Are the tools we are using actually fit our vision, our culture, and the quality we want to have? So that's the difference, thinking about the culture. And if I ask you a question, how many tools do you know? Probably you'll say like, oh, plenty, right? So tools, frameworks, systems, whatever. Probably you know a lot of them. But my question is, guys, how many cultures do you know? Do you know, for example, how quality assurance, how QA, how quality in general is organized at Google or in Spotify or in Netflix, Facebook, Twitter? Guys, these guys are setting trends in the IT world. We are all using their tools. But have you ever thought how Google or any other big guys who are setting trends, why they do these tools, why they need it, what is their approach to quality? This is the important thing, understanding why we need something, and then thinking about the tools. So, understanding first, and then the action. First, you need to get this why, and then you can make the change, then make the action. And one thing is important, making a change is not a big bang. You cannot just make a change like that because you need to have respect to the autonomy of other people. So making any change actually takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and work to make it happen. And when you have this why actually, when you understand why you need to make a certain change, and you have this why, you know how it fits the organization needs, you know why it's needed, you know what will be improved, then actually with this change, it's easier to convince everyone, to have the buy-in from everyone, because everyone knows that this change is bringing real value to the organization. If you are thinking about introducing any changes, any tools, just because you want them, because they are cool, they are fancy, shiny, you've heard about it on conference, this is something which I like to call a CV-driven development. It's just like, oh, it's cool, I'll have it in my CV. So this is the important thing, bringing value to the organization. And when you have it, then you truly become an expert. And this is what we want, right? But I want to say something more. I think that being an expert is actually not enough. In my opinion, QA role can be something more. Let's end level number 3 in here, and let's go to our final level number 4. Guys, this is a very sunny, beautiful place, right? Sun, beach, all we need is like a drink in our hands. So I called this level, I'm walking on sunshine. So guys, first things, I want to do a small replay from last year actually. There were some of you, actually plenty of you who've been on HUSTEF last year. Maybe you've seen my presentation last year, and I said something at the end. You remember? I asked all QAs to do some experiment, right? I told you the QA stands for quality assurance, right? And everyone seems to like it. Well, I don't, because I don't like the word assurance. For me, it's so strict, you know? I assure, yeah? If something's bad, I cut it. Just I assure something's good or bad, yeah, right? Green, red, report, go home. I said, nah. This is not how I see the QA role. I asked you not to think about yourself as quality assurance. I proposed another word. And you laughed. You laughed, and you'll be laughing today, I know it, because you always laugh. And I said, not quality assurance, but maybe think about yourself as quality evangelist. And you were laughing last year, and you are laughing today. This is what always happens, yeah? It's like, come on, quality evangelist? What is this guy drinking, yeah? Can it be more epic? He goes, oh. No, but you were laughing. You were laughing. Last year, you were laughing this year. And I have to show you something. I got something for you. You know what I got for you? A job offer. We are looking for QAs to be quality evangelists that support development at all things, at all stages. When I was saying it, you were laughing, right? Dubikowski said it, you were laughing. But when Spotify says that, yeah, that's something completely different, right? Spotify, it's cool. Me laughing. Spotify, yeah, everyone wants to work in Spotify, right? Come on. So you see? Okay, and I wanted to tell you a little bit how I see the QA role as quality evangelist. Because expert, as for me, expert is someone who builds the practices. This is definitely a valuable person, right? He builds the good practices. He goes to the project, understands what is needed, understands why he want to make some changes, apply the right tools, and it works. And it's great. But I think it can be more. And as for me, evangelist works on the culture. Evangelist builds the organization culture, and quality evangelist makes sure that inside this culture there is a place for quality, for understanding and the need of quality in all the projects in the organization. So this is how I see it, and let's put some theory into practice. I want to tell you a little bit how we are organizing this at Ocado Technology, where I work. And in Ocado, we have something like chapters, and we have testing chapter. And every QA, actually they are willing to be called software engineering tests. Whatever, as I said, the important thing is what they do. Every QA we have actually has their own time, the time to work for the chapter. It's like a day a week or something like this, however much they want actually. So every QA we have in the company has their time to work in the chapter and to work on problems regarding quality that we have in the entire organization, not in their own project, but across the organization. And you may say that, okay, this might be something like community of practice, right? Where people just come and share experience and learn from each other. And for me, there's a difference because chapters, people working in chapters are a team. They have their own time, they have their own space, and what is more important, they have the autonomy. They have the autonomy so they are able to make the changes happen. When they see a problem across the organization regarding quality, they have the autonomy to make this change happen. So, you may say also that, okay, but how come? How can we give people a day a week just to work on whatever they want, right? When they were working on the project, this is a lot of time. And the truth is, yeah, it is. Yes, it is, but it requires actually a lot of trust. You are experts. If management or whoever there is, if they give you time, if they give you space, they give you autonomy, you can change a lot of things. And it requires a lot of trust and not necessarily the money. Actually, it really pays back. So this is how we are trying to organize the quality evangelists across Ocado. And this is where I wanted to end the level number 4. So what now? We actually finished all the levels, right? So we finished the game. So did we win or did we lose or what? And what I wanted to say is like, in organizations, when you work, organizations are complex, evolving systems, evolving organism. And it's constantly changing. It's not that simple that you do some checklist and it works. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy to make these changes happen, as I said. So, as I see it, as I see you, QAs, experts in quality, what I see as your role is actually to one more step to focus on the culture, not only on your projects, and try to build organizational culture based on quality as its core value. Company should understand what quality is, why it's important. It should be in our blood if we work in an organization. And this is, for me, this is your role as experts in quality. It's your role to make everyone aware what quality is, why it is important, and put this quality into your organizational culture. It should be the core. You should be understanding what quality is. And this is what I wish you, to build such organizations, to create this culture where quality is in the middle. And when you have this, when you are in a place when culture is like this, then you truly win. And when you win, you get the trophy. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Seems like you have plenty of time, so we practiced something yesterday night.
Yeah.
You promised them.
All right. But this one is really hard. This one is really hard. Lengyel, Magyar, Kiadju Barat, Együtt Harcol, és Isza Barát.
So, quick translation for those
Thank
who
you
don't
very
speak.
much. All the best from Poland.
Yeah. Quick translation for those who don't speak Hungarian. Polish, Hungarian, two good friends. They fight together and they drink together. That's right. And then we have some questions.
Okay.
And actually, let's reflect back to the previous presentations. So
Okay.
I'm going to ask the people in the front to read the first question and then shift left.
Okay. What would you recommend to gain? What would you recommend to gain more expertise if you are in a project and you don't want to change, but you want to improve yourself?
A bit more context would be useful in this question, actually, because what does it mean that you don't want to change? You don't want to change, but you want to improve. Improvement is a certain change. So I don't understand. You don't want to change the project, but you want to improve, and the project blocks you. It's like I'm missing a bit of context. I know. Any idea?
I guess you can take it afterwards.
Okay, let's take it afterwards then, because.
Okay. Next question. How would an evangelist make changes happen in a big multinational company with well-defined processes?
Oh yeah, this is a really good question, and I get it often. Okay, it's like, it's all cool what you say, but okay, but I'm working in this environment, and it's like, try to talk with my manager. It all depends on the culture. Seriously, I've seen some companies. I've been in few places in the world. I talked with a lot of people, probably not a lot of people who had like much more experience than me, but I came to the conclusion, and this is what I'm talking about on the conferences, that the culture of the company is the thing, is the core. If you have the right culture, everything else derives from it. So the question is, what is the culture in your company? How important are the processes? If the processes are inside, the processes are part of the company culture, it'll be hard to make any change happen, to be honest. So I'm working in a, maybe not big, because it's like, technology is like 1,000 people, so it's maybe not big, but it's not small either. And it's multinational because we have location in 4 countries. And we are having, you have to have this culture. You have to, if your management, if you guys on the very top actually feel that quality is needed, it will happen. If you are in a company that the culture is focused on processes and stuff like this, and you feel it's hard to make this evangelist work, let's say, then what I can recommend for you is just be patient and really step by step, small steps, you change small things, and then with the small things you get the buy-in from other people, and the more there is of you, you have the bigger support, the bigger buy-in from the rest of the company, the bigger changes you can make. If your company is if you are working in a startup where you have 5 people and everyone is IT geeks, you will make any change like that, yeah? And a big company, you have to convince a lot of people, it's much harder, and it takes a lot of work. But it's possible, it's actually possible.
Last question.
Okay.
How can you make someone who does not care to embrace quality?
How can you make, I understand somehow, how can you make, how to make a change with someone who doesn't care to embrace quality? Well, that's the problem. Again, the organizational culture. There are some people who are making decisions in the company and they are shaping the culture we have. What they want. It's like what they feel, what works. And if you have someone who doesn't care about quality, I met some people, then the question is, if you have quality as a core of your culture, this person doesn't fit the organization, simply. Organization, if he doesn't accept that we want to improve quality, and the company wants to improve quality, then sorry, it's like time to just say goodbye to each other because we are not aligned. So, but let's try to give some practical advice. People who doesn't embrace quality, who doesn't want quality, talk with these people, show them arguments, show them the real value. Again, you can use baby steps. When, for example, I was having an issue with my manager when I wanted to implement system test, and he was saying like, nah, why you need them? I implemented one system test, showed it to him, look, this is something I created in like 30 minutes, and see it. It brings some value. It's just one test and brings some value. Why we shouldn't have like plenty of these? So like baby steps, showing that there is a value in quality and discussing and explaining and building this buy-in, building the buy-in from your perks and going together to your, for example, manager who is like not very happy with changes. That's it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much once again.